that was quite the experience. They called it my strength. And I felt fabulous, I felt great. Letting yourself go.
To hear from our own very superstar, Miss Vidyullekha Raman, as she lightens up the stage with a gracious presence to talk about the importance of body positivity, how it impacts our health, confidence, and the way we live.
This takes me back to conversations we've had from school to behind the scenes while doing theatre, and you know, it is about taboo talks, and we are a country wherein from the moment a child is born, the child's appearance is discussed. People discuss everything from the child's complexion, if it's too chubby, not chubby enough, too light, too dark, darker than this person. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And appearance is something that gets discussed, dissected, criticized, very rarely complimented or spoken about in a positive, reinforcing way.
Yes.
And I've seen you battle public perception from even before you had a career to through your career, right? Because let's start with how you made your debut.
Yeah.
In fact, we did it in the same film together.
Yes.
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 And
Which is why this talk is so wholesome, because I get to talk about my debut, and you were very much a very integral part of that debut with me, because even though we've known each other from high school, never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would enter the film industry. For me, I was always a theatre buff, a drama nerd, whatever you want to call it. I wanted to go to Broadway. I wanted to go to New York. I wanted to go to London and just,
I remember doing production on plays where I've changed you from a man to a woman, back to a man, all under a minute, and sent you out on stage.
Yeah. That was quite the experience. But those were moments that made me realize this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And that calling occurred when I was in the 8th grade. And I just by chance happened to do a high school drama. And I just fell in love with being on stage and having people clap for me, whistle for me, laugh with me, laugh at me.
I still remember that performance.
Yeah.
I remember it. And let's talk about your debut, because your performance was noticed. It was successful. They said a new female comedian has arrived.
Yeah.
To a large extent, correct me if I'm wrong, that had everything to do with the industry's perception of your appearance.
Yes. Back then, and even maybe now, a chubby girl, a plus-size girl or boy, you have no place wanting to be a lead role. You have no place wanting to be anything else, even a dramatic role. You are a comedian. In my past, I have broken down on stage. I have cried on stage. I have made the audience cry with dramatic performances. But still, they were like, no, you are best as a comedian. You better stick to your strengths. I remember that's what they called it. They called it my strengths. Yeah.
What is that switch that went off in your brain where you were suddenly comfortable having these conversations in public? Because they're not easy conversations to have.
They're not. For as long as I remember, Satya, I have always been the chubby girl. I was never skinny growing up. I was never skinny in my adolescent age. And I am certainly not skinny now. The one thing doctors always told me, have a balanced diet, lose your weight. If you lose weight and have a balanced diet, your PCOS won't disappear. It will be under control. Your symptoms will be under control. And you will be in a much overall better state of mind and body. And I've never experienced this before. I'm only, 23 years old at that point. Why should a 23, 24-year-old be having back pain, knee pain, ankle pain? And that's when I was like, uh-oh, I'm a bit overweight, and my knees are not able to handle it. My back's not able to handle it. And my body's crying out for help. My skin was bursting with acne. I was having hair fall. And my moods were all over the place. One minute I was happy, the next minute I was sad, then I was happy again. I thought I was, something was wrong with me. How much ever we talk about body positivity, I am a body positive person and I want to be a body positive advocate, but body positivity does not mean letting yourself go. Body positivity is embracing your body in whatever shape you are, but being your healthiest best.
Or the comments you get on social media, because you go on a holiday, you're wearing swimwear in the Maldives, and along with a bunch of us that are raving about how fabulous you look, there are also people with the opposite end of the spectrum.
Here's the sad part. So many people would have said positive comments, but that one negative comment would be enough to bog me down. The sad part is we focus on the hate. It's only natural and human too. I'd be lying to the whole lot of you if I said, no, trolls don't bother me. Negative comments don't bother me. Negative headlines don't bother me. Of course it bothers me. I'm a human too. Just because I'm a public figure doesn't mean I don't have feelings. And I was so hurt. When you go swimming, do you wear a sari? You wear a swimsuit. That's just the way things are. If you're not comfortable wearing a swimsuit, don't. But what I'm saying is, how can you shame a person and shame her morals because she's wearing something that she's comfortable in? I'm not saying everyone said this. I'm only highlighting the few trolls and the few haters and the bot accounts, whatever you want to call them. Trust me, every person, every shape, size and weight gets body shamed. Body shaming is for everybody and anybody because it's the worst and most free advice everyone loves to give. So I came from 86 to 66 and I felt fabulous, I felt great, and I was at the peak of my health. That is what is most important. I went to my gynecologist and she said, your PCOS is pretty much nil. Your insulin levels are great. Your cholesterol is great. Your blood pressure is great. Something good happened doing whatever I religiously did for 2 years. But even at 66, you know the kind of comments I got? We miss the old Vidyu. We want the old Vidyu back. When I was the old Vidyu, you told me to get slim. You told me you look so beautiful if you lose weight. What happened then? My point is, that is when I realized you will never, ever, ever in your life please everybody. You please yourself.
If you in the recent past have commented on someone else's appearance, you probably meant that with the best of intentions. But sometimes it might not have been received the same way. And that's how most of the body shaming happens in this country. So the next time you want to compliment someone, maybe let's skip appearances and move on to something a little bit more substantial.
Maybe talk about how much they are awesome in their work or at the house, or how they are as a mother, or how they are as a wife, or how they are in their career, or their personality, or their smile. Let's start complimenting people with maybe those things. Just food for thought. Hi.
How are you, ma'am?
All good, thank you.
Ma'am, my question is like, how do you spend non-shooting hours? How do you spend it in a productive manner?
A lot of things that I love doing when I'm not shooting, because shooting can be, as much as you all see the glitz and glamour on screen, it looks like it's done like that. I have been shooting one particular show that I did. We would start rolling at 6 a.m. and I would go back at 6 the next day, wearing the same dress without a break, without a bath, without anything, because that was just how grueling and demanding it was. Be it events, be it shoots, they are very, very physically demanding and mentally draining. I love cooking, I love baking, and I read, and I do therapy. I think that's very important, because to focus on your mental health is also very, very, very important. Talking to a third neutral person, for me, I'm not saying everybody has to do it. For me, it's really helped, because I've noticed my friends and families will obviously have personal bias and they may guide me differently. But when I talk to a third person about it, it makes me feel better and gives me more clarity. Maybe in the back of your head, you wanted to go talk to somebody. You know I'm going and talking to somebody, so I hope that's motivated you to go talk to somebody as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I've enjoyed talking to this somebody. Can we please give her a huge round of applause?